Now, joining us this morning is Ed Francisco, the president of BDO Capital and Investment Corporation. As one of the most respected figures in the country's investment banking industry, he'll be sharing his insights on the financial markets and their implications for businesses and investors alike. Good morning, Ed, and thanks for being here with us.
Good morning, Mikey.
Okay, Ed, we just got the latest inflation print. Can we get your comments on that?
Yeah, no, the number is at least well within the range. I'm very happy with it because we are already feeling, of course, the effects of the depreciation of the peso, making fuel and food more expensive, right? Of course, rice is the key. So the fact that it's still below 3 is great. As long as we continue that way, at least that gives the government ability to maneuver, especially for the decisions that they will have to do on Thursday when the BSP Monetary Board meets.
Mm-hmm. Now, inflation at about 3%, 3.2% year to date. What does this tell you about where we are now and where we're headed? And how might this influence the BSP stance on monetary policy?
Yeah. I think the fact that it's at that level is good. That's showing that we our economic managers and the Department of Agriculture is managing our rice stocks well, and fuel is being managed, right? The importations. So that's good because that means now that hopefully Governor Ellie and the Monetary Board will take that in consideration, gives them more leeway to reduce rates further. I guess the key really is we're waiting also on what the Fed will do because the Fed should make their announcement. I think early in the morning on Thursday, we will know if they've reduced rates or not.
That's right. Strategically, the Federal Open Market Committee just comes just before the BSP meets. The Fed meets December 17 to 18. We meet on the 19th. So there's what we're going to do, and expectations are for a 25 reduction. But that could be on hold depending on what the Fed does. So really, we're just trying to price in what might happen. But then again, Ed, lower interest rates are a double-edged sword. While they support economic growth and they support spending, they lead to, they could drive inflation higher, and they could lead to weakening of the local currency, which has been flirting with very difficult levels. Can you talk to us about how the BSP can and should maintain this balance?
It's really a delicate balance. I totally agree. So Governor Ellie and the rest of the Monetary Board will have to consider the effects on the people. I just hope that the fact, because inflation is at least being managed better now, it's well below the 4% headroom, right? So that gives us the ability even for the peso to depreciate. If it depreciates because we bring down rates, but if people naman have more money in their pockets because of lower interest expenses from their credit cards, housing loans, etc., their car loans, then it might be good anyway also. So the key really is what the US will do. And if the US doesn't decrease rates, then that gives also the BSP a chance to pause. I'm excited to see what will happen on Thursday.
Yeah, anyway, we're going to be finding out soon. In any case, in terms of currency implications, everybody's pricing in a 25 basis point reduction. Should that pan out, what are your expectations for equities and the peso in this scenario?
Okay. If we reduce rates further by 25 basis points, and that's whether the US reduces it or not, that means that we are just at par with the interest rates, the spread with the US rates. So that means the peso will continue to be weak. BDO, our house view is we're expecting the peso to strengthen to around 57.50 end of this year, only because of the BPO inflows, the OFW inflows, thanks to that. But if not for that, then the peso would really be weak. And then, of
Yeah.
course, next year we're expecting to depreciate. And then
Yeah.
what does that mean for the market? Of course, because the foreign investors want to make money not just from their earnings and dividends, but if the peso depreciates, when they convert it back to dollars, they take a loss. So we want also the peso to be stable. Otherwise, it will not invite more investors in. So the market, we're hopeful, but I'm not seeing a big pickup until maybe another 100 basis points decrease in interest rates. In the meantime, people are watching, and we're watching what happens when Mr. Trump takes over and what happens with all his nominees.
That's right. In the meantime, over the short term, are you, historically, not It's not always, but sometimes the PSE index experiences what is known as the phenomena of the Santa Claus rally, whereas towards the end
Yes.
of the year, we see some buying action as healthy optimism as investors also adjust their portfolios at the end of the month. Given this scenario, no one knows what the US Fed is going to do. Trump isn't going to take office until January 20th. Have you discounted, have you taken that out of the equation, the possibility of a Santa Claus rally or perhaps a subdued one in this
Yeah,
range-bound market?
correct. There will be a subdued rally, admittedly. I mean, if we can make 7,072 for year end, I would already be happy. I think the last year the closing was around 6,466, I think. So if we reach 7,000, at least it's already it's almost a 10% increase from last year, which is good. Of course, we peaked at around 7,1 already earlier this year, but that's fine. There will be a pickup anyway, end of the year, of course. So I'm hopeful for that. And then, of course, January again, it will probably be lackluster. We'll be waiting for more news. But there will be some positive news also
Okay.
coming up.
All right. We've got so many more questions for you, Ed. Not much time, so let's try to go quickly.
Okay.
On the exodus of foreign capital, equities are weak. We've seen significant outflows of foreign capital from the equities market, from emerging markets in general, given the risk aversion. People don't want risky assets. They're going back into the U.S., the perceived safe haven of U.S. stocks in the midst of all this uncertainty. But at the same time, we're seeing long-term capital placements. There is a promising front in terms of long-term capital placements, which is really what we want. We don't want the hot money. We want the money, the long-term placements that are not easily removed from the Philippine economy. Can you give us an idea from your perspective, what is the outlook of investors and what are the long-term capital placements that they want to pour into the country?
Thank you for that question, Mikey, because that's true. The index is not really showing the strength of the economy. I mean, of course, while for me, because I'm a trader and investment banker, I want the index to be strong. But underlying that, there's so many deals happening. They're done privately, especially in the energy space. What we talk about, an exodus of whatever, but the Actis Group just invested $600 million into Espinec or the Meralco, the Terra Power Solar. I was there when the president inaugurated or when they were doing the groundbreaking in Gapan. Uh, there are many more projects. In fact, I'm having lunch with the group of, I think it's Canadian trade minister or delegation because they want to understand more. Yesterday, I was a speaker with a conference with all our foreign I guess DTI experts because helping them answer questions on what's good to invest in the Philippines because there's so many queries, especially even from Europe right now. Expect energy because of the JAP auctions. We're working with some groups like these Copenhagen partners. Hope to help them when they win, hopefully win JAP, which is auctions for offshore wind. Those are also in the hopefully the several deals will be 5 to 700 million, $1 billion each. So they're significantly large, and they will require foreign investments, and these are led by foreign investors. So there's a lot happening, and then of course these other unsolicited projects of the government also, foreign also. So it's exciting. We just don't know it, and then I've done a lot of private deals for M&A. These are foreign private equity money coming in. So it's not just being reported, but in reality there are investments coming in.
Okay, that's good to hear that the long-term place and the hot money that comes and goes, but it's a long-term trajectory that we want, the billions of dollars invested
Yes.
right here. Okay, on to some holiday finance fun, Ed. It's that time of the year, so we've got a couple of quick, easy. I don't know about easy, but I know you can handle this. Okay, stocking stuffers for the future, Ed. If you could gift your family or inaanaks with an investment that would grow over the next 5 to 10 years, certificates that you would stuff in their stockings, what would you give them?
Okay. If it were a Philippine investment, I think personally I would give them ICTSI. Only because I believe in Mr. Razon and his management team, and they're a five bagger. They've been increasing multiples, and because they continue to grow, he's willing to thread where others don't. But he's he's very aggressive, but at the same time, he manages risk. So I think that's a very good investment to hold for the next generation, then to give to your next generation. A la Patek Philippe.
Yeah, and if this showing of 2024 is any indication of what they can do, I was on the Bloomberg terminal a couple of days ago, and if you type MRR and you pull up the list of the top stocks in the country year to date that have just really increased by a lot, ICTSI is one of them. So it's good to know that even though they're high now, there's more to go. Okay, another one, Christmas bonus spending. A lot of people are getting their 13-month pay, this bonuses this time of the year. What would you advise them to do with this extra windfall if they haven't spent it already?
Okay. If they haven't spent it, if they could, I would give a portion of it to feed the needy. Maybe donate a Christmas basket to give to those who were hit by the typhoons, and then the rest maybe use it for their Noche Buena, because I guess it's a time to be grateful for what we have. Yes, we have some misfortunes, but we look on the positive side and be grateful and spend time with our families. That's my wish.
Okay, all right. Last question. Gift for the economy. If you could gift the Philippine economy with a gift, what would this gift be? As Ed Francisco, the president of BDO Capital and Investment, what would you give the Philippine economy?
Okay, this is my suntok sa buwan wish, but I hope it can happen. The government is hampered on one hand because and outside to rely on the private sector, diba? And we appreciate that. We're doing our part. But because we had to do a lot of funding during COVID, we had to borrow a lot. My wish is sana, maybe the multilaterals or the people we borrowed give a haircut to the Philippine debt. If we are able to reduce that significantly, then suddenly we have so much ammunition for the infrastructure, social, education. It will help a lot. So yun lang sana. Sana they cut our debt or they give us a reprieve or they extend, reduce the rates. That will help a lot. Thank you.
Okay, expunge our debt. Your wish sounds like wishful thinking, but that was the point of it all. What a nice gift that would be for the Philippine economy. Thank you so much, Ed, for sharing your insights on the market and more with us, as always.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Mikey.